Oh, this episode of Cinema Swirl is brought to you with the support of our backers over at patreon.com/Cinema Swirl. $5 OTP backers get instant access to every episode of our monthly exclusive bonus show, Cinema Swirl, where Kevin and I review bad movies. And this month, in fact, right now, we've reviewed War of the Worlds, brackets 2025, brackets the one with Ice Cube in it, brackets the one that takes place entirely on a computer screen. If you want to hear us or see us review that, then head on over to patreon.com/Cinema Swirl, or just head there to find out more. Right, let's get swirling.
Cinema Swirl! Son P. Moore! It's episode number 134, coming to you from the urologist's office of Hollywood, California, where your dad is a urologist and you're having trouble weeing, and you haven't seen any of those movies.
Yay.
Sam's the son, and I'm his dad, Kevin. Hello, welcome to Cinema Swirl.
The world you created felt bad, then kind of got good, and then was bad again. Hello, welcome to Cinema Swirl. Here we are. Hi, hello.
Here we are with a special one for you, music lovers.
Yeah?
That's right, it's Spinal Tap.
Yes.
This is Spinal Tap.
Yes, this is Spinal Tap. The film,
Yes.
right, the film is called This Is Spinal Tap.
This is Spinal Tap.
Okay.
That's what this is.
This
Not
is-
what that
this is Spinal
That
Tap.
is this is Spinal. It's
What
Spinal
is
Tap.
this?
What is this?
What is this?
Sam, nothing if not the ambulance-chasing podcasters hoping to hoist ourselves onto the passing traffic of new releases. They're bringing back Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate when we can make Sam patient zero with no nostalgia to go and dewy-eyed, having seen the movie literally the other day, and then see what all the fuss is about with the revival.
Yeah. This is it's a timely release, but we have been meaning to do this one anyway. This has been one that's been on the back burner for a while.
Yeah, it's a timely release, but in the other sense of it being a timely release, it's like, well, that's a timely release. As a colleague might say to you coming back from your Diet Coke break that they have these days now. Isn't it?
What time do you call this, mate?
Yeah. Exactly. Timely indeed. Sam, what, if anything, do you know about Spinal Tap? It's music, so I assume you've heard it all before.
Okay, here's what I know. I've got a DVD copy of it that I got as a present from my brother for Christmas about 10, maybe 15 years ago.
Is it in the cellophane?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Apologies.
Sorry, you're the
to my
dad.
brother.
I'm not the dad. You're the dad. You're literally my dad.
Yes.
My dad, who once for Christmas got me a special ring that you can use to pierce the cellophane on a DVD.
Ooh.
And yet the shelves in his room filled with some would call pristine DVDs, as if to say, I opt not to do the very thing.
The man's a collector. You can't blame him
What can
for
you
that.
say? Yeah.
So it's in my collection, sure, but I haven't actually...
So you'll be popping in the DVD of this. Is this a Cinema Swirl first for you, where you are popping in your DVD copy?
Well, it's such an old DVD copy that it's not in this house that I'm in now.
It's in an attic somewhere.
It's somewhere.
With a cherished childhood bear. I thought you were about to say you've no DVD playing capability in your household. Sure, the Switch 2 doesn't even take a DVD.
No, and I don't have this on SD card, which it also wouldn't play media off, but that's just a bit of fun for everyone at home.
But it tastes a bit nicer though, eh?
Yeah, I haven't tried the Switch 2 ones, actually. Do they still have
they're foul.
the muck on them? The naughty,
foul, bitter melon durian foulness.
Okay, I've tried the Switch one. Anyway, right, so I've got it. I have a copy of it.
Sorry, you got to do some sort of like a homecoming, like, Mother, Father, prepare my childhood room. I have come home to watch This Is Spinal Tap on digitally versatile disc.
Yes, it's been so long that was an appropriate present at a time when everyone watched DVDs. But right, I've got it. I know that the amps, and it's a mockumentary about a rock and roll band, a heavy metal band, I think.
Very good. And our first ever mockumentary, I believe, on Cinema Swirl.
I think so, yes. One of the first major mockumentaries, I think.
I would say pre-Office, it was the mockumentary.
Yes.
In that I can't think there was a whole hell of a lot, although there were a few.
I know that the amps go up to 11.
Okay.
Which is... But the joke is, well, isn't that just as loud as 10? No, it's 11. And that's a bit of humour about musicians. And
sorry, we're entering dangerously into the territory now where, you know, when you go see a trailer for a movie, like when the new Naked Gun came out, and I'm like, oh, that trailer is good, but are all the best bits in the trailer, like with Borat? And I'm worried now, like, oh, are all the best bits of this movie in the pre-swirl? He already knows about the 11.
I know about the 11. I think maybe one of the songs is in Guitar Hero 3 or something. I can't remember, but...
So you may have shredded to this then, is what you're saying?
I've possibly shredded to one of these songs. I think the band might have been in The Simpsons at one point. The fictional band may have appeared in The Simpsons. I might have confused that and thought as a child that they were a real band. I'm sure that's happened to a lot of people.
Oh, I thought they were like just a thing for The Simpsons for the longest time because I was an idiot child who just assumed. Little did I know. There is another connection there, though. I'm not sure if you're aware of.
Has it got Chuck McGill in it?
It does. It does.
Yes, yeah.
And I've not seen this movie since I've seen Better Call Saul, which is a fabulous show, and it's better than your precious Breaking Bad. I'm
agree.
sorry you all
I agree.
burnt out analysing the frankly legible Breaking Bad, but there's a much better, dare I say, more intellectually stimulating series right there at your fingertips.
Yeah, it's better. I keep wanting to call that actor Michael Keaton. I know that's not his name, but it's something like that. He's in it. Oh, is Harry Shearer in it of Simpsons? Yes.
Very
okay.
good.
Right, I'm starting to get a picture now.
Jeez, we're fucking rolling here.
Yeah.
Did you even watch it?
Do
you want to take a week off? Like,
but other than that, I know one of the famous jokes. I know a couple of people who are in it. I know the subject.
What genre of band? And it's always interesting asking someone like Sam this type of a question. Yeah. Because he's aware of subgenres.
Yes.
You know, he's the kind of guy who would scroll through my iPod back in the day and been like, alt/indie. Pick a lane, Kevin. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know. I was in a record shop in Stockport recently. Yeah. And I heard very cool music that was playing. And me and my wife liked to obviously try and expand our horizons with cool eclectic music as inspired by Moon, the anti-RPG. You all know, obviously. And we're like, what is this exact type of music? And the very, very put-upon clerk behind the counter, who should have been DJing instead, said, this is house music. And then I turned to walk away and said, this is proper house music. Fair. So there's subgenres is what I'm getting at here.
So I think the band Spinal Tap of the film This Is Spinal Tap, their genre of music is heavy metal, I believe. But early heavy metal,
because heavy metal, like, boy, that's a broad thing. Because heavy metal includes everything from spandex-clad, gassy-haired individuals to fucking furrow-browed, harder-than-nails denim dudes. So what?
It's a broad church.
Yeah, broad church, where many of the participants are fighting each other.
Yes. I think we're
Protestants, that's the all fighting. That's what's happening.
I think we're more in the Black Sabbath realm than we are in the kind of Metallica realm. I think we're on that side of things.
What are some of the things, if we're mockumentary, the clue's in the name, so much like Mock Duck is making fun of the concept of eating a duck.
Yes.
It's Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Mock Duck. This mockumentary is obviously going to be poking fun at that. Now, I don't believe you to be a metalhead, but I do view you to be a deeply knowledgeable musicophile. So it's okay to call them that. So what would be some of the low-hanging fruits of that genre of that time? If I'm making fun of Black Sabbath, then,
Well, okay.
What am I going for here?
Well, if we're talking Sabbath, then we've got things like Ozzy Osbourne biting the head off a bat. I wonder if those Spinal Tap lads will find a similar shock act to perform on stage, and it maybe goes wrong.
Provocative act.
A provocative act to upset people. I think there'll probably be a thing about like, oh, drummers are silly, aren't they? They're just.
You know what I love about I'll say one thing for music, right?
Yeah.
Every member of a band seems to be like fair game. Where like there's certain genres where like, oh, fucking bass player,
mate.
Don't get me started about synths or lead guitar or the fucking cunt on the drums. You know, it feels like everyone's a target, especially the front man. Who's probably done the worst things? If there's ever a band and they've got a controversy section on their Wikipedia, I know this from my other podcasts. It's always the front man who's done the bad things and then has started a right-wing podcast defending those bad things and inexplicably selling supplements at the same time.
I think there might be some riffs on drink and drugs as
I like your use of the word riff there.
Yeah,
very
there
good.
might be some. Well, there'll be some riffs like that.
What's a riff?
What's a riff?
What's a riff?
It's like I would say a riff is a catchy melodic. It's a melody.
A melody
that has a hook to it that you can kind of latch onto. Often played on the guitar, not necessarily.
You can't riff on a drum, can you?
Yeah, well, there's drum fills, and I don't think there's drum riffs. I think I would say it's a melodic thing.
And if I was, for instance, vocally to go diggity, diggity, doo doo, a doo 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 doo, is that a riff?
That's a riff. Yeah.
Riffs. Huh. We all know now. Just one other music question. What's a lick?
So a lick, I would say, to differentiate it from a riff.
Are you all taking notes? This will be on the test.
I think a lick is a short musical phrase on guitar that's maybe a bit more showy or a bit more kind of decorative than the riff that you'd hang a song on and you'd be like, this is the main riff. You know, kind of like, blah, that's more of a lick. Whereas a riff would be like,
Sam,
all right,
yeah. No, I'm just interested because when you take music away from when you take music more into the realm of kind of procedure, obscure definitions, it's a lot more appealing. I'm not going to lie, this music thing sounds pretty interesting to me. Interesting.
Yeah.
Does music have subcommittees?
It might do. Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, that's my band's name. The subcommittees.
The subcommittees. Yeah.
The subcommittees.
Yeah.
Excellent. Are you expecting to laugh? Because comedy has not fared particularly well on Cinema Swirl. Over on the Patreon page, we did a while ago, both Sam and then I did one. We did a video episode where we literally did a power ranking, the tiers of all the movies.
Yeah.
And I would say there was a lot of jokers at the bottom of the pile.
Comedy has not fared well, and American comedy has not fared well. I mean, a lot of it has been American comedy. I also want to clarify that you can lick a guitar while playing a riff, which is mad.
Okay, that was my next question, but I was getting too in the weeds. That was a different question for a different podcast. Licking riffs with Sam and Kevin. Where Sam shows me licks and riffs I've never seen before.
Yes.
Or heard.
I'm expecting... I know that this is quite an influential film. Obviously, the mockumentary format has spun off into things like The Office and all sorts of other stuff. A lot of people who I think are funny have talked about Spinal Tap being good. I can't name a single one right now, but I know.
But generally, it's like I think it's one of those movies that if you met a group of comedians or self-professed funny people, and you went, Spinal Tap, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind.
You do great.
You get a few points, you know? And that's what you're in the business for, Sam.
Yes.
I don't want laughs. I want points of recognition from peers.
There we go.
We do 10 minutes of that before we record. Good points there. Yeah, good points.
We're like the little cats that have the
Yes, except we don't bring you good luck or fortune.
No, we bring you recognition, which sometimes is more important.
I'm intrigued by how you get on with this, because obviously something's working for it, something's working against it. I think the fact that you're somewhat familiar, but not like... Sam, it's been a long time since you're like, oh, this is a movie I've really wanted to always watch, because generally speaking, movies have never had that power on you, hence this podcast. But I feel like if there was one where I would have expected you, not necessarily to watch, because I know better than that at this point, but one that you would have been like, I mean, the fact that you have it on DVD, I don't disagree with Dr. Chaplin's methodology there. No. Right?
Yes,
the prescription for his music-loving brother was one digitally versatile dose of Spinal Tap, which, while he fulfilled the prescription and picked it up, it lay in the child-proof container. So, might find out if your brother had the right prescription. After all, he's not a medical doctor. I need to point that out. In case anyone thinks this is a backdoor into some sort of a clinic scenario. It's not.
He does stuff with robots, and we're not watching a robot film today, as far as I'm aware.
Well, Sam, before we tap the spine, why don't we tap the bag? The mailbag.
Oh, my bag. You tapped the... That's just a bit of fun for everyone at home. Thank you, as ever, for sending your questions, queries, comments, bits and bobs to cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com, or in the surprisingly delightful YouTube comments, where, if anything, you're skewing the notoriety in favour of, it's not as bad as everyone says, proving me wrong. Do your worst.
Leave some more YouTube comments. Do it.
Or continue to do your nicest, as you have been. Whatever.
Wherever you want to ask questions, just pop the questions there, and we will find them.
Wherever you lay your hat, it's your home. I'm telling you, that's your home.
Yeah. And so our correspondence today comes in from Shannon, who writes the following. Do you have diverging tastes on any films with your partners? Shannon writes, I love Spinal Tap. With Nail and I, but my husband didn't get them. Brackets, we watched them in the early days of dating. Old Boy and Pan's Labyrinth he thought were okay, but they're in my top 5. All of these are films that I haven't seen, by the way. So just...
Well, I love when a question comes in, it's like, you just gave me a lot of... You've saved me and Sam at least 3 lines on our ongoing text chat, and we thank you for that. Interesting to know, Sam, you know, I don't say you're not a movie watcher, but I have made it something of a profession for you.
Yes.
But are there movies that, for instance, you've liked on Cinema Swirl that your partner is not so keen on?
Well, it's interesting, the ones that she will choose to join me on the sofa for.
That's always very interesting, Tess,
Yeah. So, obviously, Sex and the City 2, you know, she was right by my side.
That's more of a moral support, I think, than anything, really. You know, that's more just being a good partner, you know.
She really wants to see Spinal Tap. I think she's kind of in a similar boat to me in some regards, in that there's a few big films that she hasn't seen, so this is a nice opportunity to, you know, catch up on some of those. Horror, I think, might be where we diverge slightly.
What, in that you don't like horror?
No, I will go for some horror.
Go for a bit of horror?
Yeah. I think Sophie likes the idea of horror, and is quite fascinated by some horror films. We want to go and see Weapons.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
You should. You should. It's fun. It's a good time at the cinema.
I can't think of too many like real big divergences where it's caused a kind of split. I think there's quite a lot of overlap in the films that we like, which is handy. But you've been doing this with me for over a decade, and Joe's been with you that whole time.
That's true. I mean, there's definitely times where she's like, she will either go out of her way to watch with me, or alternatively not watch me and then be very annoyed after the fact when she realizes that she's probably not going to get a chance to watch that movie with me for at least another couple of weeks / months. We have a lot of things that we actually diverge on taste-wise. Okay. For instance, I love all the Alien movies. I think Joe had seen Alien, and then I was like, well, let's watch Aliens. And she was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, it was fan. I'm like, "Arr, aliens, ah!" And then I was like, "Oh, Alien Earth is coming out. I want to see Alien Romulus." And I was like, "Arr, Alien Romulus, ah!" And she was like, "Yeah." And like every week, I see her find more faults while I gild the rose that I view Alien Earth as, for instance. But I'm just like, if you're an Alien fan like me, it's like, but you also like good movies. It's not exactly been a feast for the last couple of decades, you know? I've had to watch a lot of shit, you know? So anything's remotely good. We loved Alien Resurrection as a chance over on Cinema Swirl, for instance. She's into, historically, has a much greater stomach for body horror than I have.
Okay, right.
And when it comes to a lot, even though I love like David Cronenberg, I'm always like, maybe not tonight. I was too chicken to go see The Substance in cinemas, and I think she really wanted to see it. And I feel I have tried very hard to be more open to seeing horror in the cinema, because even though I like horror movies, horror in the cinema has been hard for me. I've been spooked and had a bad time a few times in the past. So I saw Together just actually last night with her, which was body horror personified, and we had a rip-roaring good time.
Good. Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's more, not that we have divergent tastes, but there's certain movies that I need to be in a certain mood for that she will watch any time. And there's certain movies that she needs to be in a mood for that I will watch any time.
Yeah.
And for her, it's like kind of lighthearted animation or anything like that. If it's not Sunday or Saturday morning with pancakes, I'm not watching Flushed Away.
Okay.
But I would happily wake up at 9 a.m. and watch Predator. That's the difference between us, I guess. Where she would firmly need a pizza in her hand after 9 p.m. on a weekend for that to happen.
Yeah. I think, you know, even if you watch a film together and you completely disagree on whether
it's a fun time.
That's great. That's a lot of fun to talk about that.
When I started this podcast, it was literally right when I met Joe.
Yeah.
And I was part of my personality, hated musicals. And folks, you don't need to go far on this here podcast to find a very annoying Irish man singing his heart out because he loves musicals so much. So who knows, you might...
Have you been reading the iTunes reviews? Yeah, it's nice to, you know, have that other perspective on movies and see some stuff that you've not seen before. I didn't, you know, I'd seen Muppets Christmas Carol before, but now it's our Christmas tradition. Yeah, I love it.
For you?
Yeah. I might be buying some Muppets pajamas this year from Georgia Astor. Wow. I didn't think that would happen, but it's happening.
Just think how far you've come. I still don't think I've actually seen Muppets Christmas Carol. I think that's a reverse world.
I think that information
last year
emerged. Yeah. Right. We got to remember, Christmas this year, reverse swirl, Muppets Christmas Carol. I can't fucking wait for that.
And I don't. Yes. I can wait because I've waited 30-some years.
I think we've said the same thing. I think we've done the same joke.
Yeah, easy. Always on, mate. Always on.
Always on. Thank you, Shannon. It's an interesting thing to think about. The most recent example with me and Sophie was I wanted to watch the film Pavements, which is a documentary / fake biopic.
That seems like a long day at the office. Even as a Pavement fan, that feels like a long day at the office to untangle whatever mess they made.
And she said that you can just have that. That's yours to watch. You just enjoy that on your own.
And that is my relationship with Joe and the Avatar franchise, where her and Ada went on a special No Kevin Day Out where they went and they saw Avatar because I don't want nothing to do with that.
All power to them, enjoy it.
I stayed at home and watched a long documentary about war.
So thank you for your question, Shannon, and thank you as ever for all your questions into cinemaswirl@gmail.com or wherever you want to just leave them to wherever you want. Just put them wherever you want in the comments.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com and all the other stuff that he said after that.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, I think it's time to turn the microphones up to 11 and ruin the quality of this podcast forever.
That would be a fun thing for me to do in the edit. Just
I mean, blast it, right? Give me an 11 decibel boost. That's all I want. Hard limited afterwards. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I am skeptical that you will have the experience of experiences It could well be one of your favorite comedies we've ever done. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how I feel about this. I used to watch this all the time back in university, and I feel like if it's one of those movies that you loved, but then you just haven't watched in like nearly fucking 10, 15 years.
You might have changed.
How much do you love it in the first place? I could have changed. I don't have music on my laptop anymore compared to then. So, with that being said, let's go do a cinema swirl. And we're Tap. Sam, initial gut reaction to Spinal Tap. To This Is Spinal Tap.
I liked that film. It was good. I liked the film. England. Love that. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
And do you think at this point in time you owe anyone an apology?
I'm sorry to my brother, Dr. Chaplin, for not watching the DVD. I'm sure I would enjoy it, and indeed any extras that were included upon that disc.
I've heard of 30 years of hurt, but 10 years of disappointment, you know? So, look, there is, I'm assuming, some kind of a finder's fee here. You know, if there's any other members of the Chaplin clan who are like, why didn't Sam wear that jumper? Get me honest, all right? I'll sort him out, all right?
Sure. When we start doing fashion swirl, I can sort of be like, I've never worn this jumper.
Yes. And those lapsed subscriptions to snack boxes and...
Yes.
I thought you would have loved Beer 52. Why didn't you? Why didn't you keep... It's an affront to me when you didn't let that subscription roll over. Yeah. It's an affront. But we have on tap today, not just an iconic Rocky docu mockumentary, but I think officially the shortest movie we've ever had on Cinema Swirl.
82 minutes.
Come on. Come on.
When I saw that, I was fucking delighted. And then I was disappointed by the end because I wanted more.
There you go. See, that's a good sign. Is you leave them wanting more, and here you are, like some 40 years later, demanding more, and the well has been dry for quite a long time because they don't make them like this anymore. Because legally, I think if you are to be a feature film, unless I think you're like Bluey or Peppa Pig, you have to be over an hour 22 minutes. You can't like just be like, sorry folks, that's all there is, go home. Like there's some sort of an issue with the parking charges that you can't have a movie that short in a theater these days, you know. And Sam, did you see any familiar faces, perhaps, that you didn't immediately guess correctly in the pre-swirl?
There was a few popping up. I didn't recognise everyone necessarily.
Do you recognise our director, or kayfabe director, or in-movie director?
Is that Rob Reiner?
It is.
That's Rob Reiner, who is the actual director.
The actual director.
Right, yes.
An actual director.
An actual director.
And he did Stand By Me, which we did here in the Swirl before.
Reiners. Yeah.
We've done a few Reiners. I think Reiners has been featured more enough that I give a shit about his name. You know, but he was in an episode of South Park, at least. He is our fictional director of this piece. Mm-hmm. Marty DeBerge in the house.
Yes.
Regaling us with potent tales of experiencing, and I quote, the raw power and punctuality of a young Spinal Tap some 17 years prior. So the movie is set in 82, I believe, is where it is. Kicking the tires here now. That all checks out in terms of movements, genres, providence of genres, etc.
I think so, but they do allow themselves to play around with some other genres quite conveniently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because listen, you're I was watching this and Joe went, oh, you know what? Sam is probably the best person in the world to watch this movie and then do a podcast about it with, because you'll find out all sorts.
Yeah.
Whereas if you watch the movie together at the same time, it should have been awful, because I just would have been asking you, what genre is that? Is that right?
Right.
Are those guitars historically accurate?
Well, I think I might have been off the mark with heavy metal. It's more sort of heavy-ish rock.
They identify as heavy metal when they have all these talking heads at the start.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. When I hear heavy metal, like, I watched a movie called Heavy Metal, and I would have said that was more like rock than what I thought to be metal, you know?
It's more of a feeling, man, than an actual genre.
I got in arguments with boys in school when I was 15 about metal. And I think I may have done it erroneously, like that maybe they were like, I fucking love the music in this, Sam.
Yes.
Move over, City Pop. Pop has got a brand new jam, and it is all the different music that you get in Spinal Tap. Laugh-wise, how many were we dealing with here?
Kevin.
Or was it the knowing, knowledgeable musicians? That was an accurate depiction of that genre.
I'm delighted to say I lost count. I just was consistently having a bit of a chuckle. And I watched this with Sophie, which I think helped having someone there with you to appreciate the laughter.
I know film reviewers who claim to be laughing on their own while watching movies, and when they're watching movies, and they're all frankly liars. We know that much. Like, sure you did, Mark. On your own, did you? Yeah, right. Go on then. Yeah. What if your kids saw you, Mark? Walking in. What are you doing, Dad? It's my job. Have some decency, for Christ's sake. So, England, the band, they're English. Did you figure that would be... You've got all sorts of bands, haven't you?
You know, on Jimmy Carr's Funniest Bits of Movies 2005, I feel like I've definitely seen the Amps Up to 11 bit, and the character of Nigel Tufnell is absolutely English in that. But in my head, they were an American band. I guess because the actors are all American, I just, in my head, gone, oh, they're American.
There's an American excess that is implied there, but...
Yes.
Is that, like, music and all that? Was this like all this is it now, like asking the English person.
Music, right.
Was it all of ye that did that? Was it? Did you make all heavy metal and all that?
I think with a lot of music, in the same way as with punk, you had, you know, a kind of British version and American version kind of happening in parallel and sometimes informing each other.
And that was before MySpace as well, keep in mind.
Yeah.
So that's a very particular thing. Well, you might have your rich catalogue of all sorts of music, but Ireland produced Thin Lizzy, who I have on good authority are as hard as it gets around these parts. And a teacher in my school used to inform us with great aplomb that he, in fact, taught a young Phil Lynott for a year when he was in a school. One time in a free period, I went up to his computer and there was accidentally a folder with loads of ladies in it. Anyway...
Okay.
Try enjoying your Thin Lizzy now, huh? The boys are back in prison, more like. Yeah.
Well, this is the teacher, though, right? Or this is not someone from...
I wasn't like Phil Lynott when he's dead being like, you were looking at all sorts. What are you doing? No wonder your output was frankly light.
Kevin, immediately out of the gate, after we have the Marty DeBerge bit, I was laughing because the band arrive for their big tour, and the person picking them up is holding a sign. It says Spinal Tap, and there's lots of little gags like that I
layered in. Were you like surprised by? I mean, I'm assuming you figured out the kind of improv-y nature of it and all that.
Well, yeah, I figured that out quite quickly, but I did. I turned to Sophie and I was like, "Oh, is a lot of this kind of made up on the spot?" And then I really loved that was the case because, I think part of what I love so much about this film and my favourite bits are some lads in character clearly trying to make each other laugh.
Exactly. The original podcast, Spinal Tap, is what it is. But I think it's funny because as much as I love, like, you know, Curb Your Enthusiasm and The Office and all that stuff, I do feel very often that there was a narrative in the 2010s that all the idea of, like, not strictly scripting comedy all came from those minds or whatever. And it's no, that's fair. Like, there's like 12 or 13 hours of this knocking around that they filmed. And I would imagine a lot of it is garbage. Like knowing what we cut this fucking shite out of this podcast. But I think if I was to give the man of the match to anyone in this, comedically wise, it's probably the razor sharp instincts of the editor, because there are so many moments where a joke lands so perfectly because they have managed to pick the right perfection peak of a moment to go whoop onto the next bit.
Yeah. It doesn't hang about.
It doesn't, no. And I think probably to its strengths as well, but also to maybe its slight structural peculiarities. I felt this was almost like a series of bits and skits, like almost like a sketch show. Because even though there is a narrative, they're on tour, they're coming to America for the first time in 6 years to release their 17th album in 15 years, and there is obviously beats of the story along the way. It's very much like this scene here where this funny bit happens, and then on to this next bit, which happens to be here, which is mainly about this funny bit happens. I don't want to lose any credibility by comparing this movie to Austin Powers, but when I rewatched that movie recently, I was like, oh, it's less a movie and more a series of funny bits.
Yeah.
Which is remarkably modern, because that's how most comedy gets absorbed these days.
Yes.
People like the little bits. This movie could have been one of those movies they put up on TikTok, for instance.
It could. It's very clippable. It's very clippable.
And as are we. That's why we're on TikTok now, apparently.
Yes, please go and follow and like and
just
watch.
Skronk away there, guys. You know?
Yeah, follow us on Skronk. There's great characters here, and there's a great sort of situation that they're in, and that's all you need, really. You don't need to weigh this down with too much plot and nonsense.
There's not huge you could fall asleep at this movie and wake up at a funny bit at any given moment. It's a literal dad's delight. I can't wait till I'm older so I can watch this and do exactly that. It's like Band of Brothers. I'll fall asleep, I'll wake up, and it'll be poignant and sad, except it's funny instead. And important centrally to the bit is the quality of not just the comedy, but their musical performances.
Yes.
Chuck McGill's got some pipes on him.
He has. I think that, again, is one of the strengths of this, is that they are taking the piss, but you can tell it comes from a place of love and understanding and talent. They're all... Yeah. I found out they're all playing their instruments and writing these songs, and they're all responsible for all of that, which makes so much more sense and makes it so much funnier and more authentic feeling.
It's so much funnier than literally every stand-up you and I have either known or seen do a bit about a band they don't like. Yeah. Parody has to come from love for it to be truly great, I think.
It's a loving piss take, which is what you need. An observation from Sophie, who I watched this with, they're all actually quite handsome, quite alarmingly handsome in their get-ups, which I kind of agreed with maybe one exception.
There was a period where this, the wear, I think when I first saw this in 2000 or 2001 when I was a young teen, and my cousin, who I got on with, and in terms of the things that we liked, we all liked the same things all the time. You like Chef Aid? I like Chef Aid. You like Mankind? I like Mankind. You like Test? That's cool, I guess. But he started listening to some hair metal bands, because he played guitar, and I think he was just impressed by the artistry and the high end. This is the higher end of skills. So Jump, for instance, is a really great piece of... and I hated that shit. I hated Iron Maiden. I hate all the hair metal. I hated everything about it. And a large part of it was I thought these men in silly outfits...
They look silly.
Why won't you wear a black t-shirt like Tommy Dreamer or Black Francis? So... Seeing it here, where I think that fashion has come full circle, and my appreciation of that thing has gone not full circle, part of the circle.
Yeah.
The gear is great. People be looking for this on Shein very quickly.
Yes, maybe at the time they looked silly, but now they kind of do look.
Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah. It's mad. The first song, Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You Tonight, was definitely in one of the Guitar Hero games, because it suddenly clicked into place in my brain. I was like, oh yeah, I know this one.
A lot of these ones could be interwoven or changed around with the Kiss song. You'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm gonna make love with someone. What age are they? Huh? Huh? Anyway, on to the next song. But our lineup, David St. Hubris, Nigel Tufnell, Derek Smalls, Mike Shrimpton, and on the keyboards, Vic Savage. And I've written down here now, what's the craziest gig you ever went to now? Because we're doing music now on this
Craziest
episode.
gig.
The craziest gig. And you can decide what that means.
I went to a Sleaford Mods gig in Lincoln that got shut down very early. That was...
What? Why did it get shut down? Because they were speaking truth to Lincoln Power?
I think there's a real... there's no good way to say this. Coked up dad contingent amongst their fan base.
That's the best way of saying it. I can't believe you were going to deny me and the listeners, the Cinema Swirl fan base, the coked up dad contingent. There's the new t-shirt, Sam. Good Lord.
We are the coked up dad contingent.
We've been trying to get the coked up dad demo for ages. Why do you think we're on TikTok, for goodness sake? Those guys scroll.
They do.
They'll watch the same one for hours.
Yes.
And they'll answer every question you pose to them hypothetically in all caps.
With that gig, I think, some lads wanted to kick off. They did kick off. And then the band were like, fuck this, right, see you later. And just stopped playing. Yeah. So that was...
Well, it was a short drive back to Sleaford, at least. Down the road. You wouldn't get that in Grimthorpe.
Have you seen any crazy gigs, Kevin?
I mean... Depends on your definition of crazy. I mean, when I saw Devo back in 2007, a lad in front of me was smoking crack the whole time and he kept falling over. Yeah. That was pretty crazy when it's like, I like to stay in my room and play computer. And the guy's like... That was kind of crazy. I saw Arno Core, who are an Arnold Schwarzenegger themed, but not really, heavy metal hardcore band. And all their songs are like Predator, Terminator, Total Recall, etc. It's basically half the inspiration for this podcast, because I was like, how could you not know that could show Arno Core? And that was like proper, everyone was fucking throwing everyone around. But it was safe, because at one point during like a really big crazy bit, my glasses fell off and they literally stopped like, whoa. Whoa, a guy's spectacles have fallen, hang on. Hey! And then he surfed around on his bass guitar case. We moved him all around.
Yeah.
It was good. It was like one of those things you'd see on the movies.
There's an etiquette to it that I appreciate.
There was, and that was the first time where I was like part of something like that, and I didn't feel like it was, there's a coked up dad contingent over there trying to ruin it for everyone. Because everyone there had seen all the movies.
Yes, it was a nice communal thing.
Good thing. They've seen Kindergarten Cop. They can't be rude. It's physically impossible.
No. Kevin, there's a risk with comedies when we're recapping them that I'm just going to go through and be like, and I liked this joke.
Solid gag.
But the two bands called the Originals having to change their names is very funny.
It's good bit of business, that. It's
good stuff.
And I will say, their early music that they keep cutting back to, where it's meant to be like, oh my God, like they're so bad. I'll tell you what, I'd pop on Pop Look and Listen any day of the week. That was a great, I loved Gimme Some Money. That was fantastic. Can I Have Some Tea later on? Great, genuinely, I was so impressed. Because when I first saw this, I was full of rage about certain types of bands that I wanted to see parodied. Yeah. And when they were done successfully, I was like, yes. But here I was like, these guys have just done a great little like Rootles-style Beatles knockoff, very effortlessly. Looks the part, sounds the part. I'd listen to an album of that.
So there's an extent to which these are clearly musically talented lads who, as well as lightly ribbing the bands that they like or kind of, want to make fun of a little bit, they also want to show off that they can play a whole range of genres, do some different stuff. So it's all really good songwriting and performance.
But if you were like a die-in-the-wool metalhead and you hated that old-timey stuff, you'd be like, yes, get them, kill them, yes, fucking stupid Thamesmen. I hate the Thames. And yes, it is as lovingly done as all the other parody.
I sort of wish that instead of what I think the sequel is going to be that's coming out, that they'd done a prequel about the Thamesmen, but had all been like as old as they are now, pretending to be however they're, in their 20s being in the Thamesmen.
Here's the thing. I don't want to end this episode on a total bummer, but I will say right after... I'd seen it already.
Yeah.
I saw it in the cinema and I watched it on YouTube. So I'd seen it already. I knew what I was in for. But after watching this movie and having such a rip-roaring time, I did pop the trailer right back on. And I don't want to say that my Crow remake senses are tingling.
Yeah.
But it feels like it will be loved by a lot of people, but I don't think that I will be one of those people. There was a lot of very like, oh, the joke about Stormy Daniels, and oh, isn't it funny that Paul McCartney is here? I guess, I saw him live and it wasn't particularly funny, except when he got hit in the head with a marker at the end.
I'm concerned, but I do still, after watching this, want to see.
You're gonna see it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna see it.
Just like we saw the Many Saints of Newark, even though we're like, there's so many. We knew.
Yeah.
Even while watching it, we were actively knowing, and yet we still all the way to the end, and then we'll have to do it on Cinema Swirl.
Yeah.
All the way through once again. I'm going to be a man who's watched Sex and the City 2 twice, and the Many Saints of Newark twice. I'm double fucked twice.
You are. We were talking about that these are lads who are trying to make each other laugh and they're dicking around and having fun. I think perhaps the best example of that is the stories of the succession of dead drummers.
Oh yeah, that's improv escalation.
Yeah. And I love that they don't really disguise the fact that they're laughing.
Yeah, they just bust out straight away.
Yeah. Which is...
We're choking on someone's vomit, but it is in fact someone else's vomit. That's how you fucking jazz it up, baby. Good stuff.
Yes. So, they're off on a tour of America. That's what's happening with the lads here. They've got a new album coming out, and they're off to America. It's thin on plot. It doesn't really matter. They're just they're touring.
We've got settings and beats. We have at the opening night party all these even though it's very parody, it's not like kind of crazy over the top like I'm assuming the sequel feels like it's going to be. It's somewhat grounded. The reason why the comedy pops so well is that you have these scenes with like a lot of kind of somewhat straight-laced characters like the people from the record label.
Yeah.
Even though there's mimes walking around handing out bits. And I love the use of like random comedy glitterati who might have like a line or two, like you'll see all sorts here, including your man from When Harry Met Herself.
Yes,
he was there.
Yeah.
He was there. No. Instead of handing out Oscars, he was handing out hors d'oeuvres.
Yes, there was some lad who was in one of the Bond films we watched. I'm sure, like a kind of oldie-timey British guy was one of Bond's little mates. I'm sure he was in it as like the president of the record label.
Little mate, like
yeah, it's nice. Harry Shearer playing very simple bass lines on a giant double electric bass was a lot.
Yes. When you get into city pop like me, Sam, you're used to seeing men playing ludicrous instruments. That was meant to get a laugh out of me. It just got shock and awe.
You appreciated the size of that thing.
Sam, I've seen a guy do a guitar solo on a guitar that is also model railway set. I'm geeking out for the fucking double bass there. Yep. That's not funny. Big Bottom song. Great song. Music used to be about something, man.
Yeah. I mean, you can see like some of the parody points here. That's very kind of Queen adjacent, isn't it? The kind of fat bottom girls type thing. But
the overly sexualized and like to the point where like when something is so sexualized, it's like the uncanny valley of sexiness. When you try so hard to be sexy, you enter into this other realm where it becomes so unsexy. The idea of listening to any of Spinal Tap's songs about sex while even holding hands with a loved one is a ludicrous notion to me. No, give me a back. I want to.
I think there's visual jokes or kind of like small wordplay jokes that feel very Simpsons-esque.
Oh yeah, the Simpsons writing style here, like things like Intravenous to Milo,
Shark
brilliant. Sandwich, The Gospel According to Spinal Tap. I'll tell you what as well, Intravenous de Milo, that is just a great album cover. That is vaporwave as fuck, my man. That is good stuff.
In the same way that we have attention to detail with the musical performances, the graphic design here is, and the art direction of these fake album covers that are on screen for maybe like a few seconds are brilliant.
Yes, lovingly done.
When they're reading the reviews, and one of the reviews is just shark sandwich, shit sandwich, and the lads are just laughing at they're just laughing at these jokes. It's it's so nice to be in the company of these silly characters and these silly performers.
Don't get the sense, I feel I don't want to keep talking about this sequel, but I didn't get the sense from it that we're going to get those moments of the guard being down, of people just inhabiting this character and having fun.
Yes.
Obviously, it's going to be scripted way more. I'm assuming there will still be scope for improv.
Yeah.
But I don't see a group of guys laughing at a really funny bit and it being included, which is kind of it doesn't take away. It makes it feel like, that they're not these like absurd cartoon characters. It's probably the stuff that grounds them most and makes you even remotely care about them, is that they do laugh at those important bits.
They are believably good because they're obviously a group of performers who know each other and are writing this together and are good improv partners. That also helps make them seem so believably good friends and a cute band, and the fact that they're musically talented and they get on makes so much sense and brings it so much more to life than if it was very tightly scripted and they didn't know each other.
The main kind of beat that goes through the movie is that times are changing and things aren't boding well for them. However, like the frog that is in an increasingly hot tub of water and thinks it's a jacuzzi and they're living la vida loca, they fail to notice that their star is waning and that their opportunities might be narrowing.
Yes.
And you never see it, but the constant description of the album cover for the upcoming cut, Smell the Glove.
Yes.
It's like, it's the type of thing that if you put it into AI, you're not allowed to use AI anymore. Like, no. You punch your ticket, friend. No, you're not allowed. No ocean boiling for you, young man.
Yeah, there's going to be some guardrails that pop up immediately when you try and do that. I love that during that conversation where they're being told like the album cover is sexist, and Nigel's like, "What's wrong with being sexy?" But during that scene, all of the lads have cold sores for some reason. I just really love that as a detail.
And you go straight from that to like a chat about how their audience is predominantly young boys and like not noticing like this repeating habit of like something that maybe someone who would buy an album or go to a concert doesn't think is cool anymore.
Yeah.
But is kind of as outrageous. So you're attracting kind of the last few people who would be interested in something like that. But of course, they note that the boys might in fact be scared of them because they have armadillos in their trousers.
Yes, there's a lot of Willy humour,
phallic
talk. Yeah, but
good
I mean,
stuff.
Especially with the tight sort of catsuits and leggings and spandex that they're wearing.
The spandexery of it all, yes.
The spandexery, yeah.
Yes.
Harry Shearer in particular loves a big old phallus down his trouser leg.
He looks like there's something fascinating about how he looks. It's like he's seen into the future of what Ringo Starr was going to look like in the early noughties.
Yeah.
And he's like travel back in time. He's not that old here. He looks believably like he looks older here than he does now as an actual old man. It's a fabulous because he's probably got the least amount of actual lines of any of the main three.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, he cuts me up. Like, he is so fucking goddamn funny in this movie.
Yes. Again, don't want to list jokes, but the whole thing about the bread being too small and wanting large bread, that, again, that doesn't really work as a tightly scripted thing, but as two performers trying to
and
work
how
within the bit is great.
They play the manager who, I think the manager is one of the best roles
great.
in the movie.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's the perfect straight man because he's just believable. He is an interesting character, though. He's not just a blank slate for them to bounce off of, because he's obviously parodying and inhabiting a lot of the kind of the real life horrible people behind the scenes, particularly in the British music scene in the 70s and 80s. But I love how quickly he gives up. Like, he's not exasperated. He's not like, oh, bloody hell, God, the sandwich will work this way. He just is like, he tells him the right way to do it. And then he's like, immediately, he's like, yes, you're right. You know what? Yeah, yeah. He gives up in such a realistic way. And he doesn't. So I feel so often now when you would have a scene like this, someone would be like, you bloody wazzock, you are. Or you turn to the camera and be like, there's no one, like, maybe there is, I don't know. But there's like, for a documentary, there's none of the fucking Jim face in this where it's like...
No, what are these guys like? Yeah, no one in the kayfabe of the world is looking at them and being like, these guys are fucking idiots. They're like...
Yeah, because they're gods. They're important. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just feel like it bodes badly for watching Peacock's original series, The Paper, that I think will be 20-minute installments of... At least Tim Allen gave us a funny noise. What's your excuse, Tim Key?
Yes, that manager I love. I think what you were describing, I kept thinking he's kind of a put upon dad. Yes. In that he loves his children.
He knows when to stop, though. Yeah. He doesn't. He wants a peaceful life. He knows. There's no point. Like, I don't think there's anything less satisfactory than winning an argument against a child. No. Like, there was when I was teaching, there were so many times where like people would like literally they would derail their entire fucking day to try and win an argument with an ornery 14-year-old. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're talking with someone who's got a full brain yet. Like, if you win, what have you accomplished?
Yeah,
you're punching yourself out here. Hellhole, another great song.
Another great song.
Add it onto the playlist. Great stuff. But it did make me wonder, while I saw Nigel taking a backslide here.
Yes.
Can Sam Chaplin play guitar lying down?
Yes, I can. And I've been able to do the thing playing it behind your head as well. Yeah. Can do that.
Can you play it with your teeth?
No. I think that's more of a I don't want to try. The idea of teeth against guitar string is
I've got one very plectrum-like tooth that I think I could, but I've no skill, so like it's kind of like you give the best tool to the caveman who has no spark of ingenuity. It's unfortunate, like,
and I can't really use your head and try and like play a guitar. It wouldn't work. It's not,
No, I think that might look rude on stage, Sam, if we tried that. If anything,
given where
no, please. I don't even like music.
But like a roadie picking Nigel up after he does that kind of fall back, it drags it out slightly too long.
Again, the editor is as sharp as the wit of any of the players on screen. The next scene takes place here, I've noted, at Sam's guitar collection. How many guitars? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's okay.
I'm not sure I actually know the true number. But, listener, I do... The reason for the amount of guitars is I love taking a gamble on a cheap guitar in a charity shop.
I love guitars.
The thing is, listener, I love it.
Fair play. It's the same reason I've got so many goddamn amiibo. I just love them too much.
I love them, and I love spending money. And
are all your guitars, like, you've got guitars kind of spread out, like, because I assume you've got guitars back home with your parents with the Spinal Tap DVD. Right, okay. Have you got guitars in storage?
No. They're either at my parents' house or here.
All right, you've got any guitars in an attic, for instance?
Probably, yeah.
Are there any guitars where you're not quite sure where they are?
I think so, yeah. And I'm not joking.
I just said because I was in Sam's house literally. I remember being in Sam's house literally a decade ago. Yeah. And being like, he's got a fair few guitars here.
Yeah.
And now it's like, he's obviously got more. Mm. Like, you're not getting rid of those.
No. So I have accumulated guitars, but they are quite cheap guitars for the most part.
Sam, you've just fallen into the same trap that all these idiot, no brain dum-dums have. You've bought all physical guitars, whereas me, I've got several guitar apps, and I've got license keys for all of them. They're all here on the iPad, and I can play them anytime I want if I choose to. So no closet space needed, actually. So
no, look, it's the smart thing to do. But when I set up my guitar amp, I thought, no, I'm gonna go physical this time on this, and it was too late at this point. So,
don't tell me Tim's gotten rid of the E Fender. No, what? Oh, it updated and went away. No.
So, what you were saying about the smartness of the editing here, I think plays out in this sequence, which is the big joke that everyone knows and refers to, and
Yes,
I knew.
It's such a big joke. They include this entire scene in the trailer for the new Spinal Tap movie.
Yeah.
The first 45 seconds is just this scene in its
Remember?
entirety. Remember? I remember this.
It is a very, very funny joke. We have to remember that. It's like some songs that are hits and it's overplayed and you're like, but it is really funny. But I think the thing that makes it funniest is when they're going back and forth saying, these amps go up to 11, it's one louder. And the question from the director, which is, why not make 10 louder and make 10 the highest number? A beat, and then these go up to 11, cut. And then you're done. It's so pitch perfect, brilliant.
Because I felt this way often. I've when I've filmed some video bits in the past, I was like, oh, I don't think that's very funny. And then a skilled editor has come in, and I'm like, whoa, that's way better than I remember.
Yes.
Do you think there's a cut of this scene that's simply not funny because maybe it ran on a bit longer? Because I feel like it's not necessarily. Oh, just the concept alone of it goes to 11 is so
it is intrinsically.
Quite good. It is basically an audio equivalent of Del Boy falling through the bar. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But it's good enough to include. I hope they include the entire scene again. You know what?
There's going to be a thing where they've got amps go to 12. Yeah.
And I was going to say, let's stake our professional reputation on it. That will be a scene. And then Elton John will be like, what are these doing here?
Oh, it's going to be so shit, isn't it? It's going to be fucking shit.
We're just lowering our and year collective expectations, so we'll all have a good time when we go and see it. It's fine.
It might not be shit. It might not be.
Comedy trailers are some of the, you want to talk about editing?
Yeah.
I've seen trailers for movies I find genuinely side-splittingly hilarious that are so bad and miss why it's funny. And trailers very often struggle to just not be like, here's all my favorite jokes. And now, if a trailer for a comedy is good, I'm like, what's going on? I've still not seen the new Naked Gun because I'm like, is that trailer just the funny bits? Or are you lying?
Yeah.
If you got other bits, if you got other funny bits, you better, because I'm not watching a trailer spread out over 2 hours.
It's a hard thing to do trailers for. I was thinking as well about podcasts. You know how there's little ads for other podcasts at the start of some podcasts? I've never, ever heard one of those where I've been like, that sounds great. I want to listen to that. No short advert for a podcast has ever made me want to listen to a podcast.
No, you just need a concept like us, Sam. That's all you do. That we had to put in the first 40 or so episodes so people will be like, oh.
Yeah. I think maybe we do need to restate that sometimes, but it's too late now. Yeah, you get the idea. I've not seen it. Right, so there's little, references to this tour not going well. Gigs keep getting cancelled. They're playing smaller rooms. They're getting less popular. It's quite subtly sad in the background that their star is falling.
And yes, we see at the same time as well, of course, that there are other stars in the ascent playing bigger rooms, bigger arenas, and the obliviousness of it, which is... Yes. And I appreciate there are a few scenes in this movie that aren't necessarily... it's not just non-stop yucks and laughs constantly. There are a few scenes, when they see Duke Fame or whatever his name is, where it is kind of more like, oh, okay, the joke is the ongoing obliviousness as opposed to they're trying every 2 seconds to have another laugh. Yeah. The space, I think, between the laughs is almost as important to give you a bit of breathing room. Because what you get next is then this random interview with the manager where they're talking about, oh, you've got a baseball bat there. And he's like, yes, it's a
cricket bat. It's a British cricket bat, mate.
It's almost a totemic thing. And then it could still be like, fucking killed me, that.
Yeah.
Absolutely killed me. You don't know why he did it. What... Did they just go to him at one point, we're going to film a scene of you smashing shit up? Was there a scene where he has an explosive row that they... Just so much better than any scene where it built up to him doing that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. And the idea that character who's quite calm and quite Well, not he seems a bit stressed, but like is always very in control of things. The idea that there's this bubbling under insanity, it's great.
Sam, it's again like a put upon Dad. You're right. Oh my God, Dad could get angry. I've been waiting nearly 70 years for it to happen, but my dad will blow his lid eventually. One time he got I heard him like go like really angry,
right.
And I wasn't even in the same room as when the shower wouldn't work. And we were going to go to the airport in an hour. Yeah. And it just, and I empathize so much with that. I get it, but never before and never since.
The pressure just released a tiny little bit. Like
just
when you open a 50 bottle,
just And the pressure should have been in the shower, if we're quite honest and frank about it. That was the problem to begin with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was in the man, not the piping.
Oh, lovely stuff. We've got a kind of... I think this is to kind of riff on the Yoko Ono type trope here.
Ah, yes, Janine.
Yes. Is that Mike's... Is he Michael? Mike's... No, it's not
David.
Michael. What's his name? David? Who's the character? Chuck McGill.
Yeah,
Chuck McGill's...
Chuck.
His girlfriend is coming to join them on the tour.
He keeps telling people things that she's told him. She says my larynx is fat, and I don't know why that made me laugh so much. A fat larynx.
Yeah, I think the sweet thing about this film, in a way, I was expecting a lot of like drugs and sex.
Yeah, we
stuff.
We get you see groupies around. You hear them talk about feeling sedated, but. There's no scene of them like being like and like fucking doing loads of drugs, fucking loads of broads. There is almost like you wouldn't call it PG, but like it's definitely 12s.
Yeah, and they're quite sweet little lads, really. There's a kind of frailty to them, a vulnerability that's very nice. They're not just arrogant arseholes getting whatever
they want. There's a naivety in their presentation, which is reflected in how most of your fathers and mothers remember their favourite bands from the 1970s and 80s. No, they didn't. No. Listening to my mum absolutely emphatically deny that George Harrison could have done any drugs. And then her defence is going on a tear about that scumbag Paul McCartney and that reprobate John Lennon.
Yeah.
And Ringo doesn't even get mentioned because it's like he can do what he wants. We don't even care.
George was a nice boy.
Not my sweet George. Yeah. That angel.
We've touched on your mum hating Paul McCartney. I still am not 100% sure why.
If you catch your mum on a good day, she'll call him a cheeky chappy with an angry look in her eye.
Okay.
And if you catch her in a bad mood, it's smarmy bastard, stupid prick, slick dickhead, all the names you can imagine. Like my mum, honestly, with Paul McCartney, was my earliest instance of finding out that you can have a stone cold hater about a genuinely talented, beloved figure. It doesn't matter how much they love you, Paul. It might even be my mum who threw that marker. She wasn't even there.
No, as far as you're aware. She might have been at the back.
She could have been like,
So, Kevin, I'm interrupting myself to just say I really, really love this movie. I know we're in the middle, but I loved it a lot. The lads struggling to harmonise with each other, and it's that all of that sort of stuff definitely feels like it's informed The Office, particularly the British one.
Oh, come on. Yeah, 100%. 10 times over that. Yeah, it was the type of scene which once again made me slightly too worried to do harmonies at karaoke with Joe. I was like, I've always felt that's a bit of a hill to climb. I don't think I'm up to it. And then I saw this and I was like, I'm worried. I'm worried I might do it wrong. Or I'll do it... No, I'm not worried I'll do it wrong. I'm worried I'll do it right for like 2/3 of a song. And then do it wrong. Yeah. Not stick the landing.
No.
And no one cares if you do it bad for the first half and then nail it later on. No one gives a shit. You've already ruined it.
The safest bet is either to sing exactly the same thing or just to be an octave apart, but ultimately singing the same thing. That's, worth doing.
An octave.
Yeah. So it's the same note, but one lot higher. It's just one louder.
Oh, it's as simple as that, is it?
Yeah.
I've literally been to concerts with professional musicians who sang off key the entire fucking night. It's like fucking £70
No,
to your Morrissey
okay.
fucking drone on off key in 2004. Put your top back on, you stupid racist.
The little sequence of, I think it's still the Thamesmen doing Jamboree
Listen
Bop.
to what the flower people say.
Yes, yeah, lovely.
Beautiful, so good, and the listening and whatnot. Here's a question for you, Sam. Is a white dude rocking a sitar had its day? Is that ain't happening anymore?
Well, you invoked George Harrison, who was
I did.
maybe the king of that sort of
He
shit.
died of shame before it even became an issue. And it's funny because there's so many like kind of things that are like vaguely problematic from years gone by. Who
Yeah.
like all the right-wing grifters of the world would be like, why can't we say this word anymore? Why can't we make this joke anymore? I genuinely feel there's no one out there be like, why can't white sad men play sitar anymore? Like, I think there's more people around wanting blackface to come back than that. Like,
I sort of think it's okay, but in our heads we've got like the Love Guru and shit coming up, and it's like,
that's it. Like,
yeah,
you know,
we can't go back. You know,
put it down, Mike. It's not worth it, mate.
The game's
it's not
gone.
worth it.
It's not worth it. In order to counteract the sexist album cover, they've just made it completely black. They made the record sleeve black.
Again, another thing that's meant to be goofy. That's just cool. It's
yeah.
We're in peak shiny black right now.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I actually remember, because my friend Gary back home, he got it for me as a gag because there was an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force I watched when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
Where one of the characters is like, we're going to have a shirt that's going to be black on black to show you how cool it is. And he literally went to a screen printing shop in Galway and, much to the chagrin of the screen printer,
Yes.
got me a black t-shirt with black font on it. He's like, you're a fucking idiot. He literally embarrassed himself so I could have a joke gift, which I wore
Wonderful.
with pride.
Yeah.
I saw so many black on black t-shirts at the
thing now.
wrestling show. It's a thing.
Yeah.
And the shiny black records, man, that's been done, I think, several times since.
Yes. Yeah, I would imagine so.
Get rid of those eyes on cats. It's the same cover.
At one point, one of them was like, "Oh, it's like a black mirror." I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
I thought the lady who played Janine was very funny. She
Yes.
had big Julia Davis energy on her.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
she was very, very, and like just kind of how immediately every scene she's in, it's not like they go straight away for like, oh, you're ruining the bow, oh, crazy explorer, what's she doing? It's just there's a slight tension in every scene from this point until the end of the movie now, just heightened.
Nigel's little catty looks to her whenever she's saying anything are like so fucking
And
brilliant.
her catty looks back as well.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Just wonderful how much they hate each other but don't say anything. It's great.
I love the dynamic of them emerging from the kidney jackets on stage.
Yeah.
Except for Derek, who gets trapped in there. Could you play your guitar while trapped in a giant kidney jacket?
You got to be that way.
Ah,
haven't
he's
you?
playing sitar. He's playing air sitar. Get him!
No,
Get him!
no.
A lot of young white men are too afraid to
Play sitar
anymore. You know.
My
dad used to get me on the knee and play while my guitar gently weeps on sitar, and he's too embarrassed to now. He's worried that the tofu eaters are going to get him.
It's a shame. And that brings us to our sponsor, Beer 52.
Sam, we need to have cigars for these bits. It's
Sorry,
just
yes.
not reading otherwise. It's just not reading.
I think I could play guitar in a little egg thing, but the fact that he's stuck in it and the crew are like hitting it with hammers, like
Fire,
trying to get him out. And then him getting out just as the others have gone back in. Again, pitch perfect. Joke doesn't outstay its welcome. It just kind of does exactly what it needs to do perfectly, and it's so good.
I love this song that they're playing here as well. There's a lot of prog elements in this movie. And as I've always said to fellow prog lover Joe, I've got a lot of time for prog, honey. Mainly because they're all so fucking long, those songs. You need to, in fact, have quite an amount of 24 minutes. Phil, calm down.
Oh,
But a lot of these are going on rotation. Unironically.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Oh,
I say that again.
They're good songs. They are good
yes.
songs.
You've been to now, and this is another question for Mr. Music over here now. Have you ever been to a gig that has been, and not in the Sleaford Mods chaotic sense, but an out-and-out disaster where something's not worked, the musician has been peed off because there's technical mishaps or foul-ups? Because you've been to literally over 10 gigs as far as I can tell.
Not really. I think the only foul-ups have tended to be audience-based problems. So there was I remember I went to the Arcade Fire pre-cancellation, and the singer got hit in the head with a shoe or something, and yeah.
Did they know?
Maybe, and he stormed off stage.
That's what happens when you get cancelled, is that every aggression upon you pre-cancellation is now viewed as like, was it a time traveler? Did they phase into this? Did they know? Were they an investigator?
Yeah.
I saw Frank Black live in Dublin once, where he was at the peak of his, I've just done a Pixies reunion, so I'm definitely doing my own thing now, and forget about that. That's done. My money is made.
Yeah.
They're on like album number 20 now, whatever. Like, they're basically Spinal Tap now. But he at the whole gig, I was surrounded by people being like, do insert name of Pixie song. Do that, even though he said explicitly in the advertising for it, on the poster, everything, he's playing the new album, start to finish. That's what he's doing. Yeah. That's what he's doing. And several points in the show, he kept stopping songs and being like, you're interrupting, you're fidgeting, stop ruining the experience for the people who've come here. This is what it's meant to be. And right at the end, he came out and he said, you guys want to hear some Pixie songs? And I went, ah! And he went, okay, I'm going to recreate the first ever Pixies gig that we did. Hang on a second. And he took out an electric guitar, and he did the first few chords of Caribou, and then messed it up, went, oh, hang on, sorry. And then he did it again, and then he did it again, and everyone kept going, very good. All right, now do the fucking song, Frank. Do the song like you said. And then he kept doing it, and 2.5 minutes later, I have to keep going, ding, 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 oops, sorry, ding, 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 oops, sorry, ding, 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 oops, sorry, ding, ding, oops, sorry. He walked off the stage. One more tune. One more. He didn't come back. And Sam...
that's rubbish.
Sam, the young lads from the Frank Black Bebo fan page I set up were devastated.
That's not great. No.
That was less of a technical mix-up and more of like, I think his brain broke in a very cruel way there, you know? When I saw David Byrne, literally 2 hours straight of a man beside me from Rahoon going, burning down the house, Dave. Go on, sure. Burning down the house. He didn't skip a beat. He made fun of George Bush's second term and went on with the rest of the gig.
Yes. There
Come
we go.
on.
Commit to it. It's an easy joke, I think, this one here, where Nigel is playing a very sweet, tender piano number.
Sad trilogy.
He's saying it's a combination of Mozart and Bach. It's a sort of Mach thing. And then being asked at the end, what do you call this piece? Lick My Love Pump. Like, that's solid, simple gag writing. There you go.
Timeless is what it is.
Classic stuff.
We have something you couldn't get away with in this day and age.
Yeah.
Post 9/11, good luck getting your tinfoil phallus through. You'd be locked up. You'd be in the pit. You'd be done.
It's a shame, isn't it? You can't wrap what is it he has down his trousers? An aubergine?
That is a zucchini, or as you might know them better, as a courgette.
Ah, yes.
That's right, they're the same.
I was going to say, why is it wrapped in foil? But I guess that's to sort of protect it.
I think it's much like your English cucumbers, Sam.
Yeah.
It is an osmotic bit of vegetation.
Yes.
It could probably lose its turgidity rather fast.
Yeah.
And even though I've got a sack full of courgettes downstairs that are remarkably in good nick after 5 days in a too good to go box.
Don't brag, mate. Come on.
I even started talking about the avocados. Someone's back on that recycling train. But you wouldn't want to be taken. I wouldn't be taken out of the bottom drawer. You know, that's even in tinfoil, Harry Shearer is playing with fire here.
Yes. It's a funny scene. Again, we've got in the background like this sadness of no one showing up to their autograph signing and stuff like that. It's
we also get Heavy Duty Rock and Roll, which is one of the best songs in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And also them getting lost when they're going, backstage. Like, That was parody beat for beat in wrestling by Chris Jericho. It's a like. There's so many bits where you could have put this into, and then it's like, and then they do the song, and then it's a little vignette on its own. Again, I think this is a style of movie making that is very ahead of its time.
Yes, and that little sequence again kind of teeters on, dragging on too long,
but then
but comes back round, and then off we go.
You'd cut to fucking. What do you mean they got lost backstage?
Oh, these fucking idiots! Oh. Lots of stuff has been kind of being mentioned about Stonehenge as this set piece and song that they used to do but don't do anymore.
Have you been?
No.
Joe's been so many times. She's like, she's kind of like,
Yeah.
She feels about Stonehenge the way I feel about the Seven Wonders of Four in County Westmeath. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
It's here, I guess, if you want, if you care about it. I don't care about it so much anymore. I'm a bit old for it, I think it's a interesting collection of rocks.
I mean, you can't go near the henge now, though. You can't even
Really?
You can't go close to it. But it makes sense because by now it would be, covered in St. George's crosses.
That's true. Or they would someone would have smashed it with a hammer and then be like, why is everyone upset that we
It's just a rock.
I love England. Smash.
Nigel's guitar solos where he's rubbing a violin on a guitar is great. Takes the violin, tunes it to then start. Oh, yeah.
His facial expressions during it alone, it's one of those bits that if you hear it, it's probably still funny. But you could even just look at his eyes and it's funny. You look at his hands, it's funny. Yeah. There's so much humor going on. Have you ever played a guitar with another instrument?
No. No, I haven't. Oh, no, I did. I used an electric toothbrush once to get some kind of interesting kind of sustainy type stuff going on, which was... I didn't have one of those fancy e-bows.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's a little magnet thing that you hold up to the guitar and it kind of magnetically vibrates the string. So you get the sustain, mate. It's just so much sustain. You can't hear it. Well, it's not plugged in, but it vibrates the string forever. Like you would be bowing a
listen
violin.
To Gavin Guitars over here. Sure, he's like another language, isn't it? Huh? So we are building up to the big Stonehenge set piece.
Yes.
And we see the actual Stonehenge set piece, and there's been a beautiful miscommunication and a comedy of errors where the 18-foot Stonehenge is, in fact, 18 inches, I believe, is the actual size thereabouts. And the most Alan Partridge line in this movie is, the triptychs are 20 feet high. That's a great word.
Yeah,
I'll be using that.
Did you recognise the lady who was the set designer?
I didn't know. Who was that?
Angelica Houston of...
Really?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. She used to go to the Film Fla in Galway.
Oh, yeah.
There. Now, how about that?
There you go.
They gave her a Lifetime Achievement Award, which was a model of the famous boat in Galway called the Galway Hooker. And... she was like, I'm no hooker now, what?
There we go. Way.
And I look at my dad and go, why didn't you make that joke? It was there for the taking. You're a dad. Up your game.
Kevin, all the songs are legit good. Like Stonehenge, great.
Great stuff. Particularly the flute, the synth flute, which I now decree as king of music to be the greatest instrument going today.
Sure.
The digital flute.
Yes. Yeah. Good stuff. We love a bit of flute. Them playing the song as the shitty little model comes down is a big laugh. That's
the little dance around it, etc.
Yeah.
They have a band meeting that gets very intense. The fire is aimed at the manager, and it seems to be a roundabout way to try and give Janine unspecified powers in the band.
Yes.
And he, much like a father, once again, he immediately recognizes and calls the bluff and leaves them in a shit show.
Yeah. Dad's finally gone mad and left, and he's not coming back. We don't know
what to do.
From there, they go on to play at a military base, at a kind of at-ease sort of ball thing where it's very quite rigid and boring.
Himself was there. You know, your man, the guy who's in everything.
Yeah? Who
you know,
was
the
it?
guy.
the guy?
He's in. It's a problem when my frame of reference is always movies, and you've not seen any of those.
No.
But
Yeah.
have you seen Review with Forrest McNeil?
No.
Have you seen I Think You Should Leave?
Yes.
You know the guy who is playing the silly organ and breaking plates loads?
Oh, yes.
That guy who's in everything.
Yes, he's there. They're being asked if they can play a couple of slow numbers. Immediate cut to working on a
sex farm. Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
This causes Nigel to walk off.
Yep.
And they have alluded to like their unbreakable bond and all that, but there has obviously been some kind of under the hood disagreements over the years.
Yeah.
And trying to play it off as like it's no big deal. Another line that popped me greatly, which is there's been 37 members of this band. Like there's no, you know, including Peter James Bond, who exploded on stage. And the lame, low energy gaff of calling someone Peter James Bond. Great. Good stuff.
One of the names, Ronnie Pudding. That they're going through. That, again, I don't want to be like Ricky Gervais watched this and nicked all of it, but the bit where David Brent's going through all the places he could go to after being, leaving Slough, like casually throwing in a name like Ronnie Pudding is great. It's the same as like just saying Winnersh in the middle of a sentence. It's the same gag of like the list of mundane things.
Sam, right? This happened with Jack Deacon Lead Balloon, where he's like, none of you have watched the Curb Your Enthusiasm DVD that you got for Christmas. And then Ricky Gervais says, none of you have gone to watch the Spinal Tap DVD you got for Christmas. I've got 10 years!
He owes a lot to this, I've realised, from watching it. But
most of those people don't have podcasts with their good friends to see them through that. They'll go on ignorant forever, and I have been assured by his repeated hateful stand-up specials that he cares a lot about fairness, apparently, and ignorance, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the band is kind of falling off here. Everything's going wrong. Nigel's left. The next show they go to, it's billed as Puppet Show and Spinal Tap, which is really fun. And they're sort of basically sounding like they're going to call it a day, and they're talking about other projects that they let fall by the wayside that they could pick up, including a rock musical based on the life of Jack the Ripper, Saucy Jack.
Man, as a guy who had to struggle through on a reverse swirl, that fucking, Sweeney Todd,
yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't eat a pie for a month after that because it was so fucking shit and annoying. I would pay hard money to see Saucy Jack.
I'd love to see Saucy Jack. Yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
Again, things that the Spinal Tap sequel could have been: a prequel about the Thamesmen, a full version of Saucy Jack. Yeah.
Sam, if there was a limited edition pasty and Greg's called the Saucy Jack, I'd buy 2 because I know Joe'd be annoyed if I didn't bring one home for her to try.
I can taste that. You know,
I can taste
exactly what that tastes like. Oh,
brown, right?
Yeah. Quite nicely to wrap things up, Nigel comes back for a last show with them.
Yes, and not before we get the absolute beautiful cherry on top at the end of that last scene of we've got a lot going for us. I envy us. Great. I envy us. Beautiful. But yeah, Nigel comes back and informs them that they're actually doing quite well in Japan. And that is, again, another kind of route that a lot of bands of that time found themselves in when they kind of had cycled through the Europes and the Americas.
Yes.
There was a whole new world awaiting them in the Japans.
Yes. And so Nigel's back in. They're off on a Japanese tour. And right at the end, another drummer spontaneously combusts.
Good stuff.
And they're going. They're kind of...
And so some of the best goofs are in the credits at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that, obviously, I bemoan the lack of bloopers on most of my movies these days. You know, I was saying that, Weapons is good, Sam, but the lack of a blooper reel really kind of, I thought, took away... it's fine. It's fine. I think, people are maybe just giving it a bit too much attention, really. But giving me extra jokes during the credits...
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yes. I like that a lot. What if I want to watch the movie again after talking about it with you.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I just want to mention all the funny bits in the movie, like, other things that we didn't mention, like Jazz Odyssey and stuff like that. But I'm like, I think I just, ultimately, that's not in the service of a podcast. I just want to go see this movie again. Yeah. Like, it's a fucking romp. And it is held up so well.
Yeah.
As a movie, as a collection of skits, as a guide on how to like improv in the way to get the best out of everything possible.
Yeah.
It's so like at the service of its players, yet it never feels self-indulgent. You know? Like a lot of improv-y stuff, it's like, oh, fuck off, you stupid prick. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You fucking prick. The last thing I would go see live very often is an improv troupe because I'm like, oh, fuck off. You know, I don't know why it is. Sometimes it can feel a bit like, I don't know, not in the service of the audience, but this is just, oh man, I wish other comedy movies were as good as this. I wish when other people improv'd, it was as funny as this.
Yeah.
Or when people cut it up, it was as tight as this. God damn, it's good.
It's much like them playing an instrument. It's a band coming together, everything coming together at once and it working perfectly. So the performances, the scripting and the improv, the actual music itself, the editing, everything about it just works perfectly in service of just making us laugh. It's just a purely funny experience.
I feel like you're going to watch this again. And I think that almost never happens in Cinema Swirl. Like, once the movie is done, even if you beloved it, you know, even if you super duper beloved it,
yes,
it's usually kind of like, hey, I've seen it. Because, you know, you've talked fondly and given glowing reviews to a lot of, like, Kubrick movies, for instance. But I don't think you've watched Eyes Wide Shut since we reviewed it. Probably not.
No, but I've thought about watching that one again, actually. But, you know, I would gladly watch this again. I really do genuinely now want to dig out that DVD because I imagine
special features.
Yeah.
Commentary track. Physical media. Why did I buy all these apps? No. Damn it.
It didn't outstay its welcome at all. It was just so much fun and so funny and exactly the sort of shit that I find funny. It was almost perfect, I would say.
It was
as a comedy.
Your cup of tea times a million.
Yeah.
I think the worst things I've heard you say about the movie are A, that it's too short, and B, I think we have a shared sense of foreboding that we both have to go and see the new one.
Yeah.
But also the new one has something of an impossible task ahead of it.
It does.
And it feels to me a best case scenario is it's not a disaster, but a perfect seeming movie, and it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And forgive me for getting ahead of myself. I had a lot of fun talking about it, unlike a lot of other times we've done comedies.
Kevin, it's mad that for a film like this, from the time that it's from, there's not a scene where we're like, there's not a bit where we're like, it was great apart from, you know,
Right at the end, there's a song that's basically like a ballad to potentially underage sex.
Sure, but
that is like, even in itself, it's like, but there's so many songs from back then.
Yeah.
That are like that. It's just actually a really good parody of the genre again. So hands are tied here in terms of trying to figure out anything else to ask you other than your final thoughts, your rating, your review of Star Wipes for This Is Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Sam's final thoughts.
This is Final Tap. Right. It's not too complicated. I just absolutely loved this and laughed at it loads and found it really funny and really enjoyed it and kind of want more of it, but also think it's a perfect thing as it is on its own. I want to do a joke about giving this 6 Star Wipes because it's one
it goes
more,
up to 6.
but I'm not actually doing that. But what I am doing is I'm going to give This Is Spinal Tap 5 Star Wipes.
Whoa! You heard it here first. 5.